Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Ryu. No, I am Rocka. And we are the Dead Air Dudes. Thanks for listening, supporting, and your
Welcome.
feedback. As we do celebrate hitting 10,000 downloads. Thank you very much, all of you. Cannot be
Everyone.
done without any of you, literally.
Literally. Well, in a previous episode that we just did, we spoke about the Acolyte, everything up, down, in and out about the Acolyte and Star Wars. And now we come to find out that season two is dead.
What the
There
F
will
is
be,
happening?
there will be no season two. There will be no continuation of Khmer and the Stranger and the twins who aren't twins, and we will not see it. Not at this point, cats out of the bag. We will not see Yoda talk to, uh, Benestra,
Sinestro.
and we will
We
not
won't see
see, what's his name, the dude.
Darth Plagueis.
There you go. We will not see Darth Plagueis, at least not as far as the acolyte is concerned. So yes, we miss the. Not really, but
We hardly knew you.
exactly. So you wanna give a couple words?
Yeah, it's a little head scratching because it wasn't terrible in terms of viewership. It was number 10, I think. It wasn't the top 10. It wasn't the worst. What
No, it's not the worst.
befuddled me is something like Andor gets season two.
But Andor or Andor is actually was a critical darling, and people
It sucked.
genuinely, for the most part, but the people that kind of suppose actually liked it. And not to mention, there was no blowback about quote unquote. And mind you, when I say this, I don't really care. I'm not, you know, let bygones be bygones and let's have, everything. I don't care. But quote unquote woke, it's not.
But again, to me, it
At
wasn't
least not
even
as
that.
much as as supposed
Well,
to be. Um,
the criticisms you and I have
right.
weren't that. In
No,
fact, it to me it was blended nicely in the storylines.
right.
We had more issues with canon, right? And we had, if you guys want to check out our previous episode, we had special guest PBJ on, who is our resident Star Warian, Jedi, whatever you want to call him, Padawan. The thing is, it was captivating enough, and I thought it generated enough interest, and it did get some acclaim with, especially Manny,
Jacinto.
his role.
Jacinto, sorry.
Yeah, that it actually caught everybody, even some of my Star Wars hardcore friends, off guard that this was canceled, and so actually very like recent, like it just finished a month ago.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting ready to find out news about when they're gonna start filming season two.
Let the wine breathe, right?
I mean, let the wine breathe, man. I mean, my goodness.
It weird, and Disney. Okay, so Disney, I don't know their finances. I don't know how hard they've been hit. They've already went out on the offensive about capping Marvel. Now they're doing this. It's like they are in such reaction to whatever viewership or
Look, that's
criticism, or maybe
crazy. I mean, this is what gets me when the studios cry poverty and oh, we didn't make a profit. No, 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 no. We would. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. We're losing money. No, you're not losing money. You're not making as much of a profit as you were. Okay.
the greedy get
Now,
greedier.
that
And
if you're talking about a certain film was in the red, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, like the Marvels, among others, yes, that particular film may not have made what they expected and maybe was technically in the red, but on a whole, Marvel, especially now with Deadpool Wolverine, I mean, they're back
they're
up.
they're in the plus. They're back in the black.
Okay.
And in contrast to something like Borderlands, we'll get to that later, the live action of the video acclaimed hardcore video game series, $211 million budget. They made 21 million global.
Well, look, first of all, I mean,
It's a dumpster fire.
I don't want to get into that right now. Let's finish up the Acolyte, and then we'll definitely get into that right now. I just want to see if there's any other news or any other tidbits about the Acolyte. I mean, I've heard nothing except,
I've heard nothing except for it's canceled. Goodbye. Thanks for tuning in.
yeah, I mean, not much else. So, I mean, I guess, I mean, maybe, hopefully, I mean, not even, I mean, maybe in a animated thing, maybe we get to find out what ended up happening to them, to those characters, you know. But
Maybe in an edited Ahsoka season 2, something will bring to light because the witches are in there.
yeah, but
So maybe
but the time,
it
it's the time frame, which drives me crazy. Prequels drive me crazy. And we read, I mean, I don't want to go on
we know. We're well documented.
God.
But the thing is, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Right.
Oh, and an air of incompletion.
I mean, yeah, definitely,
All right. I meant to ask you this.
It was great. It had a strong start. It was, as you mentioned before, the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year and snagging 11.1 million views globally after 5 days of streaming. But of course, everyone talked and yada, 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 and how woke it is and the witches and everything else. As Rocka mentioned before, momentum could not be sustained, though it hit number 7 and number 6 on the Nielsen streaming chart in its first 2 weeks. It fell out of the top 10 until the finale, when it limped to number 10 and pulled in 335 minutes viewed, the lowest to date for a Star Wars series finale.
I guess that's it.
Hedlund previously indicated she had pitched her ideas for a second season to the studio, and looks like they will not be happening. So
I guess money talks, man. I guess
now,
numbers and no lie.
I'm going to say something that I've been trying to hold back to a degree, and I'm not really going to get into it too much, but
let it rip.
It's unfortunate that some of the most toxic fans in fandom are Star Wars fans. Okay. It's true. The amount of gatekeeping that goes on in Star Wars, it's crazy. And
fanatical.
Yes, almost to a insane degree. Okay. And given the time, I can get into it, but yeah. And I think that is what kind of drives home the quote unquote wokeness and why anything different isn't really accepted by not every Star Wars fan, but
as opposed to Trekkies.
Actually, I think the correct nomenclature is Trekker, but yes, Trekkies are happy to get anything, or Trekker are happy to get anything, and usually what they get is pretty damn good.
Izzy's making friends all over the galaxy.
But yeah, and that's that. So hopefully,
right, you want to leap into the MCU now?
Yeah, sure. What do you got in mind?
Well, it wasn't specific, but there was a little tidbit put out for the X-Men 97 season 2, where it alluded to a little bit of a hint, an Easter egg about, if you will, of two characters who had never been displayed before will make an appearance. And then you, better than I defer a big hint going towards X-Force and other. Who do you think they're alluding to and who would fit where they're going with the split between the future and the past? and the groups that are there.
Well, I did hear that they were in talks and discussing that there will be not one but two other X-Men teams.
Yes.
We did not specify characters, but I think it's well known, or at least rumored, that Havoc is in one of the teams. And I do not know who the other person is, but yeah, there's
But if you were to speculate on what you've seen in the past and who you think not so much excluded, but was not included, who might fit into their plot point to this point, which is apocalypse, which is the future, which is also the past, and which is, is obviously going to be the Four Horsemen. There's going to be
obviously we're gonna have,
Cable.
yeah, we're gonna have a team, the team that was still alive, that we saw that
Yeah.
was named and or killed in, or I'm sorry, or captured in the poster. That'll be one team. While the other team will probably be X-Force. It'll probably be, you know, depending on the team, you might have an this is I'm just saying.
No, we want your speculation because who do
Right.
you want to see that has not been there?
Because you have Deadpool in there. Obviously, you may or may not have Cable in there. You may have look back at the New Mutants 98 and look back at the young and the early issues of X-Force. Who could be there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who personally would you like to see
I would love to see.
that didn't get shined before?
Obviously, he was, X Force, whatever, but you could probably throw him in. I would love to see Long Shot in there. I would love to see, maybe even someone like Shatterstar, or, you know, looking back at the, like I said, New Mutants 98 and X Force, Domino. Domino would have to be there, you know.
This is why we geeking out with you, man, because you're gonna bring to the table what a lot of hardcore fans want to see. Now, the trepidation I have is because of the leadership change. We hope that they keep continuity with how
Yeah,
phenomenal we both thought the
but
first year season went.
what I've heard, the current, and I do believe we spoke on this in the episode, the current showrunner is going to keep, or is going to use Bo DeMayo's scripts as a kind of
Template.
a template to build off of that. Which, mind you, the rumors that are popping out from what exactly happened
Yes.
in the writers' room and etc. Ooh.
Not good.
And
Not
today,
good.
I read a report that his lawyer had to come out and say that Disney does allow allowed you to have an OnlyFans. Okay. And whatever happened between behind the scenes was what happened behind the scenes, meaning consensual, whatever. And there was nothing inappropriate that happened between Bo and other people.
So
A
was it? They just didn't like the optic,
face lie.
but they
But
just didn't like the optic of it all, or
I don't know. The rumors are that uh was he groped some people. He was sexual innuendos and stuff like that, which is also probably, they're also saying that is kind of the rumors why he was fired from The Witcher as well. You know, so all I'm saying, where there's smoke, there's fire.
a lot of skeletons in that closet.
Okay, going back to the announcements from D23, which is where we're getting all this information from. You have the return of Frozen, you have the return of The Incredibles, and of course, one of our faves, Toy Story. Okay. You have Moana 2. Obviously, they showed the teaser of Snow White, which we've all seen, and we've all seen the memes and the mocking of Snow White, and how Snow White is the prettiest of them all, and yet the evil queen is Wonder Woman. So enough said. So
Who's casting over there?
In the why would you ever make this? Considering the first one was perfect, we gotta have a live action or a CGI Lilo and Stitch. Why? When the first was perfect.
Again, they cancel some shows and they greenlight this.
As I mentioned, Incredibles 3 and Toy Story 5, Frozen 3.
And Incredibles. I love Incredibles. It's such a long gap between the first one and the second one. The second one was not that great.
But do we really need another one?
No, some things are better left as is. Do we ever need a Nightmare for Christmas Part 2? No. And it stands alone as one of the top ever.
I mean,
Coraline was great too. Don't touch it. It's like it's fine as is. All right, we can get into another day because the amount of dearth of imagination is nauseating. Nauseating. All right, if we stay with Marvel, the news that came out.
Now that we're here, let's just finish at this, and then we'll get back to tomorrow.
No.
Zootopia 2, Star Wars Skeleton Crew, which it's been getting decent buzz, but who knows?
No, same here. I'm looking forward to it though.
Agatha all along. I don't know about that. I mean, whatever. I mean, she's great, and let's see what happens. I mean,
for filler maybe, but.
And of course, they also showed snippets of the Fantastic Four, the first steps. They showed snippets of Daredevil Born Again. Which now you're talking about they actually showed clips of the Punisher, White Tiger, and the Return of Bullseye. Okay. Avatar 3 is now Avatar Fire and Ash. Okay. And something I'm looking forward to personally, Freaky Friday 2.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So, there's another sequel that was just dying to be made.
Freakier Friday called. So
watch out. Do not confuse that with the adult show with the same title.
No, please do not. Tron Ares, Monster Jam. Oh boy. A Pixar movie called Win or Lose. A teaser from Elio, another Pixar movie. Another Pixar movie called Hoppers. Mufasa the Lion King with a new trailer. Mufasa. I guess it's story because we needed to know the story of Mufasa, but hey. Pete's Rocka's favorite Andor season 2 is coming out.
Oh, can't wait.
Marvel Ironheart, with Riri, and supposedly we're gonna have a movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu.
This was hinted by Mr. Pedro Pascal a while ago. So I guess it's coming to fruition, or he already knew it and he just wanted to connect the dots. But
yeah,
I'm okay with it. I don't know how much a feature movie is going to make as far as interest goes.
I thought that it was perfectly fine if it ended the way it did. Now, of course, as a completionist and I would like to know where was Grogu after the events of
And no, and it's well documented. I mean, we have our issues with how the last season ended and how it went from there, but whatever.
Now, Rocka has some stuff about Marvel, so shoot.
Well, the only other it came out with Spider-Man 4, right? So Tom Holland will still be in there. The villain that's coming out reportedly is Black Cat. If you want to expand on her.
Well, look, Black Cat, Felicia Hardy, depending which retcon or which iteration you're talking about, the Black Cat. The Black Cat originally, from what I recall, is kind of, I wouldn't say a ripoff of Catwoman, but I mean, some would say
pretty much. He's a burglar.
Yeah, a cat burglar who is smoking hot. Somewhere along the lines, I don't know exactly how it happens. She actually acquires bad luck powers.
Yes, she can manipulate situations for the bad luck to outcome to come out.
And then sometime between then, she's been on and off with Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, but Spider-Man. As
So
she
mask on,
mask on all the time, you know. Mask
COVID protocol.
mask on. I mean, at least up to mask on, socks on. Exactly.
What are
So,
these? What are these things?
no, not goggles.
Wait, what'd you say?
And so yeah, and then obviously since in the years since then, Felicia has turned into a crime boss. She's been good and evil. She's turned bisexual. She's had one hell of a ride. But the biggest news, which we all were waiting for, depending on the source, it's not official yet, but they're talking that go ahead, Rocka, is gonna play her.
Our very own Sydney Sweeney will play her, and I'm pretty sure the cat suit's going to be 2x or 2x tight.
Yes. But here's a catch. Here's where the woke police and the woke haters and all the are gonna hate this one. In conjunction with the comics coming up in the new, I guess the new arc that's coming up soon, there is a new Black Cat and a new look for the Black Cat. And it's not Felicia Hardy. So, and it doesn't look like Felicia Hardy.
And so, are there going to be creative issues, image issues?
No, there's going to be people hating. Oh, why? If Black Cat was always white, why is she not white now? Okay. Now I've only seen a couple like images, as far as, but already I've seen in reaches of the interwebs, people already talking shit about it. Now that's something different, but reverting back to the film, if it is Sydney Sweeney, it could obviously work. Looks
It
wild.
will work.
But an interesting little twist I did read is that supposedly Marvel with its Spider-Man, they cannot use characters that have been used previously in previous films.
What?
Yeah.
Like Doc Ock? Like Gremlin? Like Hobgoblin?
Like all these characters, they cannot use them. So if it's true or not, I don't know. It could be the same people who are spreading this information about Sydney Sweeney. For all I know.
All right. Well, I
But
mean,
we're
there
here
you
to give
go.
you everything that we know, whether or not, and you guys make your own decision. Because
You ready to swing the page to DC?
of course.
I did watch a good long feature about the Creature Commandos and the backgrounds behind each one. And
And Rocka
he
loves,
came,
and he's turning the other cheek. Which cheek we don't know, but he's turning the cheek.
I mean, I like it actually. Now I like it more and more that I know more. My issue has always been, why do I have to go to another YouTuber to find this out? Like they're doing such a poor job with advertisement promotion.
Well, because I mean,
They are.
yeah, they are. I mean,
Because if I don't get this from selected people who are hardcore or they have a leak in the industry or some kind of,
then
I'm
again,
not getting it.
do not forget that unfortunately everything is so Marvel centric. Like I mean, even though I'm not even I can't say it's 80% the stake in Marvel or the Marvel like stake in comics as opposed to DC. As far as sales is concerned, it's probably closer, maybe 60-40, maybe 65
Maybe
35.
less.
I mean, as far as M2 is concerned, if you want to obviously Images there and Dark Horse and everyone else. So probably I'd say Marvel still has probably 60% or maybe
Oh,
close to of
I mean,
everything.
I'd hedge on a higher percentage disproportion, but
That also makes DC, I'm not gonna say irrelevant because that's bad to say, but as far as people wanting to know, unless you're see what DC has going for them is that their fans are, God bless them, they're awesome.
they're
And
hardcore.
they're hardcore and they will gobble up every single thing that
Yeah, every Batman, every Superman, every Wonder Woman.
and they love them, you know. But dude, I didn't know anything about Cape Crusader until
Yeah,
they on my own,
exactly.
and I enjoyed it thoroughly, even
But
with all
exactly my point.
the wokeness. And I hate to say that, but even with all the changes, I enjoyed it.
Penguin. Yeah. I don't know, I agree with you completely. If I didn't know like the backstory between Frankenstein's monster and Bride of Frankenstein and how they were intertwined in the past, and I'm saying this to people not to spoil it, but because it's intriguing that in the comic book lore they had a kid and they had to kill the kid. I mean, it's just nuts. Like it's really dark,
Yeah.
but it's captivating to the point that every creature in this creature commando ensemble has a really complicated backstory. It's not a very straightforward thing. Like one is a scientist who got caught up in it and then became a mutant herself in this, and then everything is tragic too. And then you throw on top of everything else that Amanda Waller is still a cutthroat, ruthless uh, counterpart to what's his name in Marvel. It's very colorful, it's very deep and complex, and I just wish that they did a better job with publicizing where they're going to cut a new trailblaze, put the torch up so everybody could see it's coming.
Well, we just found that information. I agree with you completely. We found that information from a tweet. This are called tweets, right? A tweet from James Gunn saying that he is 1 year. They completed Superman, the new Superman film, a year early, and they did it because he wants to give the FX artists a year, give them all the time in the world to complete the FX, for the CGI and all that good stuff, which is fantastic. Which is one of the big issues that Marvel is encountering. I mean, I wish PBJ was here because he can verify and give his.
For the rush job that they put out there.
Bro, what they did in Ant-Man was absolutely brutal. I mean, come on. In Secret Invasion, to the point where they actually got called out for using AI in the opening credits, is abysmal. Okay. Well, we can get into that some other time. Point is, I mean, I hope they're getting paid well, and I hope that's probably the next. And I'm not saying they should strike or anything, but they should get paid more than what they're getting paid. And given
No, 100%.
and given the time to do the job they need to do. I mean,
And now, with that said, it might be too far gone to, or we're still in the dark to know or comment deeply on it. But it was leaked that DC is officially going to kill off Darkseid. I don't know why. Why would you put that out there? It's like, why would you say the ending before it's out there?
are you talking comics wise? Or are you talking about in the movies?
I believe it's going to be in the movies.
I guess maybe they want to go a different direction as far as the big bad. They don't want to. Maybe they want to go as far away from Zack Snyder's version as possible.
Which
Maybe
that man is still wanting to complete his trilogy. I don't know how that's going to happen.
maybe after Rebel Moon, I don't think they're gonna let him.
He's not going to touch another director chair again.
I mean, quick, not to get too.
Wait. But Rebel Moon wasn't that bad.
But real quick, he wanted to do a trilogy for Army of the Dead, and Netflix, after letting him do his director's cut for Rebel Moon and I think upcoming, he wants to do it in black and white or whatever he wants to do it. They said, you know what? No more for the trilogy. It's done.
Thanks. There's the door.
Yeah, pretty much. So
All right. And I guess now that we hit the big hitters, if we can just we'll hit on these horror. Will be the horror segment of the show. I really love, I'm a fan of the 28 days later, 28 weeks later, and now 28 years later. My opinion, one of the better horror movies, whatever you want to call it, rage, apocalypse movies of the last 20 years.
Don't
Now
say
to bring the whole gang back together.
don't
Okay.
zombie though. They're not zombies.
They're not zombies. It's a rage virus.
Now, has it been 28 years later, actually?
Yeah, it's going to get close to that, if you believe it or not.
Oh God.
I
So,
know.
we're
But
talking
look,
Killian Murphy
they
will be.
got they got the original writer,
Yes.
they got the original producer, they got the original director, and they got Jim Cillian Murphy, fresh off killing it in the box office.
Killian killed it in the box office.
Cillian, dun, dun. And again, to refresh anybody who's forgotten, or the first one was bananas. The second one, it had mutated and left isolated England into Paris, into France. And now we're talking about 20 years later, 28 years later. What the hell has come of the world with the rage virus running rampant? And again, it's not zombies, so they have a shelf life. They don't walk the earth indefinitely. But as we've seen, it can be repressed, it can be recessive, it can come back. With this cast, with the same Danny Boy and everybody else, I am very, very, very hopeful that this is going to be one kick-ass mega thing. And now this third one is actually going to be, it came out part of a trilogy.
Now,
they just wrapped up part one. They're going to start filming part two and then part three to come.
complete sidebar within the same thing. If any of you guys and gals and everyone out there, if you guys own 28 days later, there's some legal wranglings about the actual rights to the DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. So you can't find them anywhere. They will cost you a arm and a leg. So if you have them out there, they're actually worth some money if you actually own them.
I'm amazed you just brought that up, because I just was trying to do that 2 months ago, and I came across a double feature DVD, which I paid decent amount for, maybe 3 times what I normally would pay any DVD, but I have both on one disc. And you are correct, sir. I was beside myself, like, why can't I find this?
Mind you, I mean, you probably got it early, because now it's like, probably $100 to get it, maybe more.
I paid a little less than half of that,
So,
but I was shocked, like, wow, what the hell? But I'm geeked for it, and I hope you guys are too. I can't wait for it to come out. And continuing the horror trek, Terrifier 3 came out with a release date. Yes, Art the Clown is coming back for the third one, and this would be in October 11th. As you could tell from
Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. Wearing a freaking Santa outfit. Of course, it's going to be, which is befuddling. Why wouldn't it come out in December?
I mean,
who dropped the ball here? Five Nights at Freddy Part 2 is going to come out in December.
If you can put it, first of all, you got to gauge your audience. You got to see, you don't want to go up against some movies and no. You also want to make some money off of it. And if you can get it closer to Halloween, isn't that better than putting it at Christmas?
I know, which is why Five Nights at Freddy Part 2 dropped the ball. It's coming out in December. It makes no sense. When last year it came out in October, second to last week before Halloween, and it was the number one freaking horror movie out there.
No money. They know that December is usually Oscar time. Usually the big films that come out, they're usually dramatic pieces and stuff like that. And you're not going to have many blockbusters. So if you put it out then, kids will go watch it, parents will go watch it, Taylor Swift will go watch it. Bam, bam, bam.
All right, and if you will, let's end this episode with the honorary dumpster fire. We're gonna gaslight it, and I hopefully convince you not to watch Borderlands. many hardcore gamers, and we have a lot of gamers who follow us. The trend of making games into live action, it's strong. There's a reason for it because it has a strong following. It's fantastic. It's dynamic. It's big screen. I watched it, and again, I have not played much of the game. I know of it. It was cringy bad
I don't blame Eli Roth though.
because
He had shot more than 3/4 of the film, and they had to reshoot it all because the studio hated it.
I could see why.
So he had to reshoot everything.
I love Kate Blanchett. I think she's completely miscast.
Eli Roth, I would have never taken that project. Never would take that project.
It's miscast. The action is wanting. And again, without going into the deep canon of the video game that everybody seems to eviscerate it with, it doesn't jive. It doesn't convince. Kevin Hart plays a straight character.
And I
Like,
think,
not much humor.
why now? Isn't
I
it?
don't get it.
Isn't it after what? It's at least what I'd say 3-4 years. I mean, maybe you guys can tell me. It's an older game. I mean,
Yeah, I don't get it either.
but it's not. It's not us. I mean, shit. If you would have said you would have made a movie about Elden Ring, or you would have made a movie about, heck, God of War, which is old also, but at least, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I don't either. I scratch my head unless this was a contractual thing, then they just had to complete it.
I'm still waiting for the eventual freaking Fortnite film. Why not? At this point,
Modern Warfare, Call of Duty. Let's go bananas with this.
I'm shocked they haven't done that yet. I mean, but that's fine. That'd
Cast
be
the rocket and it'll be fine.
so.
All right.
Guys,
That is our not so quick wrap up of happening news, trending news. Thanks for geeking out with us as we bring you whatever comes to the table, and in our comments and tidbits and insights that we can provide, melding the entire scope of multimedia, movies, shows, games,
multiverse.
books, TVs, comic books, anime, blah 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 blah.
Thanks again for 10,000 for everybody. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocka. Thanks for being vigilant. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And remember, always, always save the whales.
Take care, everyone.